Hello everyone, today I'll be reading the article Bringing Delhi Dhaka Ties on Track. So let's start. A Hindu monk Chinmi Krishna Das, a former member of International Society for Krishna Conscien- um, Consciousness and now a spokesperson of Bangladesh, Samitra Sandati Janagar Jot, was arrested on charges for treason upon his arrival at the Shah Jahan International Airport in Dhaka. This was spiraled into a war of words, threatening to damage the existing bilateral relations between India and Bangladesh. Das was brought to the magistrate court in Chittagong on November 26th and was denied bail. A protest against the decision led to violent clashes between Das's protesters, supporters, and law enforcing authorities, where a lawyer named Saiful Islam was hacked to death, ensuing a blame game between the monk supporters and political opponents. In a statement on November 26th, India expressed deep concern. It asked the interim regime to ensure the safety and security of Hindus and all minorities. However, Bangladesh dismissed India's concerns, and the country's foreign ministry referred to India's statements as unfounded and misinterpreted fact that stands contrary to the spirit of the friendship and understanding between the two neighboring countries. Since then, the social media has now rife with the social nationalistic rhetoric of citizens against one another. Meanwhile, the flags of both countries have deserted by the protesters as if to score a nationalistic point over the others. However, the situation did not end there, as groups within India, supported by regional political leaders against ground, the Bangladesh Assistant High Commission office in Agartala was attacked. India issued a statement describing the attack as deeply regrettable and promising action against those breaching the mission's security. The the bank account of Das and 17 members of ISKCON have been frozen. Bangladesh Immigration Police didn't permit 54 group members from ISKCON to cross over to India despite having valid travel documentations. There are demands in Bangladesh that ISKCON be declared a terrorist organization. However, the Bangladesh High Court dismissed an appeal to ban the organization. After the fall of Hasina regime, houses and properties of minority community were targeted. According to reports, 1,068 homes and businesses established were attacked. There were reports about attacks on temples across the country. A gold plated silver crown gifted by Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the Joshewari Kali temple in Bangladesh's Satikara district was stolen. India expressed its concern and Modi spoke to the interim regime's chief advisor Mohammad Yunus. Yunus visited Daksheswari temple, assured the minority community of safety and promised to take actions against those who attacked them. But the violence continued. Some Hindus said they took help from their Muslim neighbors to protect themselves. In some cases, people kept vigil to protect temples. Some Bangladeshi politicians justify the events as an attack on Awami Hindus as if they deserved it since they were perceived as supporters of the disposed regime. In 2001, Bangladesh witnessed similar violence by the Bangladesh Nationalist Party supporters when the Awami League lost powers to the BNP. Durga Puja was celebrated in Lakshar manner and 35 puja pandals were attacked. In one of the places, Islamic music was played. As a result, many Hindus wanted to flee to India but were not allowed to cross the border. Such attacks on minorities also occurred during the Awami League period, but the scale of violence this time was massive. While Bangladesh media accused Indian media of exaggerating, it was silent on the magnitude of these attacks except for the Daily Star and Pontrolo, whom the Islamists targeted for their reportage on the attack on minorities. Several hospitals in Tripura and West Bengal announced that they won't admit patients from Bangladesh. There were protests in Bangladesh against the attack on Bangladesh Assistance High Commission in Tripura, so the country decided to close the mission temporarily. Both countries have stepped up the security of their missions following the security breach in Agatala. Emotions are running high among the people on both sides. Statements by politicians have fueled the acrimony. The current relationship is vulnerable to domestic politics on both sides. Since the fall of Hasina government, anti-Indianism has been influenced by vested interests in Bangladesh, seeking to recast for foreign relations with portraying India as beneficiary of Hasina's rule. Despite all these upheavals, marked by high expectations, frustrations, and oppositions, India has not accepted the change of regime in Dhaka. There is a new emphasis on the relationship with Pakistan as an interim government announces a re-examination of MOUs and agreements concluded with India. Revival of the SCAR has been proposed, while the Bay of Bengal initiative for multi-sectoral technical and economic cooperation has been disappeared from political lexicon. Border trade continues as usual. There is a ray of hope in bilateral relations. The Home Minister of India inaugurated a passage terminal building on October 27th. 10 Bangladesh officials also came to India for land port training under India's Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation Program in October. When protesters from India threatened to disturb trade following Das's arrest, the Border Security Forces and the Land Port Authority of India took measures by shutting access to border entry points. A meeting at Foreign Secretary level is due next week. Bilateral relations are not founded on century old socio-economic relations but on reality of geography. Bangladesh remains India's largest trading partner in South Asia, and India is Bangladesh's second largest trading partner after China. The two countries mostly trade essential food items. Moreover, India's exports raw materials for Bangladesh's garment industry, contributing 80% of its export earnings, which add up to 11% to the country's GDP. Bangladesh and India must put the relationship back on track and take it forward. Irresponsible comments in media creates an atmosphere of zero-sum game. This multifaceted relationship cannot be held hostage to an to any single issue, as India underlined. There is need for extreme caution to navigate this complex bilateral relationship as Bangladesh moves towards implementing institutional reforms that would ultimately pave the way for democracy. Thank you. That's for the day. This article was written by Smruti S. Pananik.